It's been nearly 3 weeks since the last confirmed sighting of Brian Laundrie. Authorities searching far and wide for the man named a person of interest in the case of his fiancée, Gabby Petito. Petito's body was found in the Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming shortly after going missing on a cross-country trip with Laundrie. News Nation correspondent Michael Shore has been at the Laundrie family house all weekend in Northport, Florida. He is joining us now live. So, Michael, while we're all waiting to find out where Brian Laundrie is, what investigative news do we also await?
Yeah, it's important to know that we're not just standing in front of a house waiting for people to come out here. We're actually waiting to see if the FBI comes here, if the police come here to talk to the family about what happened to Brian Laundrie. But we're also waiting, as you said, Rudabeh, to learn more about this case, right? The Wyoming, we talked about how Gabby Petito was found in Wyoming. The Wyoming coroner there has sent their and deferred their work to the FBI. The FBI will decide when that will be released. So as of right now, we don't know exactly the cause of death for Gabby Petito, and they're probably trying to guard against any kind of contamination of that or holding on to some of the evidence that would matter if they were to find out that it was Brian Laundrie who was involved in this. You have to remember, too, that Brian Laundrie is a person of interest only in this case. The only offense that he is wanted for and for which there is a warrant is on a bank fraud charge having to do with his debit card. So there is that right away. And then, of course, there is the idea of knowing exactly where Brian Laundrie went and how this happened, tracing his steps, tracing to see if anybody else was involved and absconding him from the law. So those are the pieces of evidence that they're looking at right now. But it all goes back to figuring out exactly the cause of death, when it happened, and at whose hands they were. Is there DNA evidence? Well, we certainly don't know that yet, Rudabeh.
And we heard yesterday about someone who claims to have seen Brian Laundrie while hiking along the Appalachian Trail. What do we know about that tip?
It's a really interesting story, and I just got off the phone before we came onto the air with the Haywood, North Carolina County Deputy Sheriff there, who was telling me about the fact that Dennis Davis, a Florida man, was there with friends hiking the Appalachian Trail. There's a trailhead there at the border of North Carolina and Tennessee. He gave directions to a man who he said in profile, if not straight on, looked just like Brian Laundrie. It confirmed it for him. Dennis Davis said this, an engineer from Florida who happened to be up there, said that profile, that's what confirmed it for him, that it was Brian Laundrie. He called at that time the Tennessee law enforcement, then he called North Carolina law enforcement. North Carolina law enforcement told me that right now it's sort of being sent up the chain of command. The FBI is involved in it. There's nothing conclusive, but what was interesting is the man that he said looked like Brian Laundrie was asking him directions to California. Of course, it places him, the searching's going on here still, but it does place him about 1,000 miles from where I'm standing right now. That's farther away than a lot of people thought he would be by now. Rudabeh?
And there's also another Florida case that's gaining a lot of national attention. That came to a sad end yesterday. Tell us about this other tragedy that's not too far from where you are tonight.
Yes, so much tragedy. I mean, you told that story of further killing in Central Florida. Then we're talking here about Gabby Petito. And now Mia Marcano, 10 days ago, a college student in Orange County, which is a little northeast of where we are now, think near Orlando, was missing as of the 24th of September. They found her body yesterday, Saturday, 10 days later. They'd already known what had happened to her, who was responsible for either abducting and now we know killing her. His name was Armando Caballeros. When police went to question him immediately after she went missing, they left, the police left. He then committed suicide, so you didn't have any kind of further interaction, obviously, with him. Marcano was found using cell phone technology. They saw that Caballero's cell phone was used in the vicinity of where they actually looked for, and sadly found Mia Marcano, 19 years old, a Valencia College student. Again, another story of someone who was missing and a tragic end to that story here. And we're going to be covering all of those, Rudabeh, on our series Missing in America here on News Nation, but there are too many of them, even as I stand here in Northport, Florida.
Yeah, even just in that very area where you are. Michael, thank you so much for that reporting.